Quote or estimate. Do you actually know the difference? Because when a job runs over and the customer rings asking why the price has changed, the word you used when you sent that price is the only thing that matters. Most decorators use both words interchangeably. Quote on Monday, estimate on Wednesday. Same job, different word. No thought given to either. But they are not the same thing. A quote is a fixed price. When you give a customer a quote, you are telling them the job will cost that amount. Full stop. It does not matter if the job takes longer than expected. It does not matter if the prep turns out worse than it looked. You committed to a number, and you are tied to it. An estimate is different. An estimate is your best assessment based on what you can see at the time. It is not a binding commitment. If the job runs over because of something you could not reasonably have known about, you may have grounds to charge more. Now picture this. The job has run over. You ring the customer. They pull out your original paperwork, and they say this. You said it would cost $1,400. Now you're telling me it's closer to $1,700. That's not what we agreed. If you called it a quote, you have very little room to move. The customer is right. You committed to that figure. But if you called it an estimate, and you have proper terms in writing, that becomes a different conversation. Maybe not a pleasant one, but at least you have a leg to stand on. And this is the important part. The word you used decides the outcome, not the quality of your work, not how reasonable the customer is, not how well you explained yourself on the phone. The word on the paperwork. So which one should you use? Straightforward work with visible surfaces? Use a quote. Interior repaint, standard prep. You've done this type of work 100 times. Fix the price. The customer gets certainty, you get clarity. But if there are unknowns in the job, use an estimate with clear terms. Old property, questionable plaster, woodwork that may have rot underneath, things you cannot fully assess before starting. That is estimate territory. Be honest about why, and make sure your paperwork explains what happens if unexpected issues appear once work begins. The Federation of Small Businesses is clear on this. Any written price given to a consumer should state whether it is fixed or approximate, and what conditions could affect the final figure. That applies directly to decorating work. But this is bigger than just one word. It is the whole document. Most decorators send a price and nothing else. A number on a page. Maybe a list of rooms. That is not a quote, and it is not an estimate either. It is just a number, with no protection around it. A proper quoting document should include a clear description of the work included, what is specifically excluded, payment terms, how extras are approved before work is carried out, what happens if the customer changes the scope, and your terms and conditions. Not pages of legal language nobody reads, just plain terms that clearly explain what the customer is agreeing to before the job starts. That document changes everything. The customer knows exactly what they are getting. They understand what happens if something unexpected appears, and you know exactly where you stand if the conversation ever becomes difficult. If your current quotes are just a price on a page, with nothing protecting you around it, that is worth fixing before your next job. PaintQuote Pro is a quoting app built specifically for self-employed painters and decorators. Proper document, proper terms. Professional from the very first quote you send. The link is in the description. You can try it free. No credit card is required.